At 3:20 p.m. Is when another dastardly attack took place in Jammu and Kashmir in Pampore area, where army convoy was attacked by terrorists who managed to flee from the spot in South Kashmir. 3 army jawans have been martyred, 2 have been injured. The incident that took place in a busy civilian area. Terrorists took advantage of the crowd present. CRPF has also said and in a statement that jawans couldn't retaliate because of the heavy civilian presence on the ground appropriately. It's second such attack that we've seen in the 7 months in Pampore, where yet another convoy of the armed forces has been targeted. 300 odd terrorists said to be present in the valley as per intel sources, as infiltration has now closed due to inclement weather. But 300 odd terrorists in the valley at a time where there's been a funding crunch is what the centre has been claiming post demonetization drive. Talking more about that first, getting you this reaction and the ground report.
हाईवे पे जो आर्मी की कॉन्वॉय जा रही थी, टेररिस्ट अटैक हुआ है। उसमें सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस ने भी रिटेलिएट किया है, जेकेपी ने, सीआरपी ने, क्योंकि यहाँ काफ़ी ज़्यादा पब्लिक थी, इसलिए खुल के सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस फायर नहीं कर पाए। अभी तक यही हुआ, हम लोग बाकी देख रहे हैं। इट इज़ नॉट कंफर्म्ड।
Also, as the terrorists have managed to flee, search operations are underway. Joining us in the studio are Brigadier Amit Kapoor, who is a defence expert. Also joining us is Colonel V.N. Thapar. Good evening, gentlemen. And what we're looking at right now is, Brigadier Kapoor, as we were talking about, is how there has been a change in the modus operandi of the terrorists. Last time when you had a CRPF convoy attacked, it was at an isolated position. This time you have a bustling city which is being targeted, a bustling area where this army convoy has been targeted. Do you believe there could have been security drills that could have been taken place earlier? Do you believe it's a security lapse?
You see, whenever our convoy movement takes place, we carry out a lot of precautions. Something known as road opening and convoy protection. We have troops on the ground which clear the area on astride the road, and we have protection in our convoy. So these two things they look after. Now in these areas, civilian areas, a few months back, the army was withdrawn from there, and those posts were now being managed by police and CRPF as per the requirement of the civil government. Now it's a catch-22 situation, because our instructions are very clear to armed forces and even CRPF and PMF to avoid collateral damage, and we always do that. So here it's not that the CRPF didn't want to or something, but it's a very busy street. It is the main road. Yes. Unfortunately, all our national highways, they are passing through the main areas, main residential areas, shops, business establishments. Same thing happened when these things happened in Punjab and in this place Jammu and other places. The national highway passes through the cantonments. So here the national highway, you have no choice. We don't have bypasses made for these towns, and this is a trouble spot. Pampore has always been in limelight, and they have been carrying out. Now this is a new, what you are asking, this is a new modus operandi. That they are trying to hit us in the civilian areas. Earlier they never hit. Now they know that we are not going to retaliate here because of avoiding collateral damage. So they are taking advantage. We'll have to now find some ways and means to these areas also picketed. When the convoy movement is taking place, right. Yes. even the residential areas and the business areas, when a road is passing through that, we will have to picket them. And without that, they will become bolder and bolder day by day.
Absolutely. And Pakistan are getting more and more defiant. Specifically, after the surgical strike, a message was delivered to them. We've seen ceasefire violations increasing. Over 110 that have been reported since September surgical strike. You've had our jawans being targeted, our key security installations being targeted. We talk more about that with Colonel Thapar as well. First, getting this ground report with my colleague Shuja.
A major attack has taken place here in Pampore today, and 3 army jawans have been killed and 1 has been injured. This is the national highway that connects Kashmir with the rest of the country, and this national highway has come under attack like this many times. In fact, just recently about in 9 months back, we saw a similar attack exactly at this place where the CRPF convoy was attacked by the militants. Now, the army says that they are looking out for these attackers. The police and the paramilitary forces are helping them in this lookout, but so far there hasn't been any success. These militants took the advantage of the busy crowd, the busy road, and fled from the spot. With cameraman Tariq Shujaul Haq in Pampore for India Today.
So the gunfight, according to initial reports, lasted for about 15 to 20 minutes, where the terrorists opened fire at the army convoy. As per the CRPF, the retaliation was measured in response because of the civilian presence on the ground. Hizbul Mujahideen squad, highway squad, has been surveying the area. There was an intel alert as well sounded. So Colonel Rian Thapar, where is it that you believe there was a security loophole, if one could call it? Because there have been 4 attacks in Pampore itself in 2016, and this is a very vulnerable area for terror attacks.
I totally agree with what Brigadier has said, and that is that such appreciations, such planning should be done well in advance. This is not the first time that a convoy has been attacked. At various places in Kashmir, convoys have been targeted, and it's a very easy target. Now, that is one point. The other point is that we cannot go hell for leather. You know, whatever be our SOPs, you can't start going, hammer and tongs after them, because the civilians will become great casualties. So some amount of restraint has to be there. What I want to clarify is that this counterinsurgency operations is a very slow and laborious, painful operation. It is not like an attack.
True.
The other thing that I want to clarify is, again and again, the media is hyping the surgical strike. Let me tell you, it was a raid. We had a success. But 20 to 30 people getting killed in Pakistan is no big deal. It is happening every day, some bomb blast and things like that. So it's not a big deal. We went, where we went, we didn't cash on the opportunity was that the window that was opened by that surgical strike was not exploited thereafter. Yes. If we had put the pressure thereafter, then things would have been a little different.
So what sort of pressure we can put on Pakistan? We have tried the diplomatic channels pressure, Colonel Thapar. No. Surgical strike is significant to point out at this point time is because after Uri attack, there was a strong message that had to be sent to Pakistan, and this was a brave and a bold step taken by the government. But after that as well, so let me just complete one point, because after the surgical strike as well, there was diplomatic isolation which was taken place, countries boycotting Pakistan as well. United States had given out a strong warning to take action against UN designated terrorists like Hafiz Saeed, which continue to roam freely in Pakistan. So what is a message that India can send to Pakistan?
What is this diplomatic isolation? On one side you talk about America, they've got China, they've got Saudi Arabia, there's no such tight diplomatic isolation for them, and they are not very much bothered about the so-called diplomatic. Now I want to make 2 or 3 other points. One major point that I want to make is that the things will improve only after the overall administration in the state of Jammu and Kashmir improves. There is a huge amount of deficit in how to go about the whole thing, because the government itself is not on a very sound kind of a wicket, And the other is that we got to be very clear. The kind of signals we send to the armed forces has to be very clear. Now you just had the Heart of Asia conference. What signal did you send there? You are saying diplomatic isolation and things like that. What signal did we send there? Did we send a proper signal that we will hammer you properly if you do something like that?
We didn't even take the name of Pakistan.
Yeah, we didn't.
In that.
No, sir, but Heart of Asia conference was very significant. You had a statement against those states which are perpetrating terror on their soil.
And it was there, but that country was not named.
It was quite clear that how Afghanistan is with India on this point.
Afghanistan is there.
But the outfits of Lashkar named, Lashkar everybody knows has its genesis in Pakistan. Hizbul Mujahideen named,
all terrorist organizations, they will be mentioned.
But sir, here the question is, after today's Pampore attack, it is quite clear that Pakistan is defined and proxy war continues.
What I wanted to say was, there was much hype about Rahil Sharif going, and the new chief Kumar
Bajwa
taking over and things will be sorted. No. There is a deep state and they are accustomed to this kind of a thing. That is a way of life for them.
Colonel Thapar, fair enough. Let me come to Brigadier Kapoor. So let's compare the June 2016 Pampore attack to now the Pampore attack that's just happened, where you had CRPF convoy attack, you have an army convoy attack. But in December, now that we're sitting, we've had a surgical strike, as we mentioned. We've had a demonetization drive where there have been defense minister's statements saying that now at least terror funding has seen a severe blow. So we would see the terror activities in the valley come down. And the third is the new Pak Army chief coming in. These three have been significant changes since June, but same script being repeated by Pakistan still.
You asked one question to Colonel Thapar. I'd like to just elaborate on that. What he made a very pertinent point. That the normally exploitation phase, we always have in any operations, we have exploitation phase. Surgical strike, after that, we were just sort of overhyping that, and we should have capitalized on that success, and some follow-up action should have been taken. Number one. Now your next point is that comparing in what was in June and what is now, what are the changes?
Yes.
Like you have said already that there are 300 terrorists in the valley. Number one. Okay, and this demonetization will not have effect in 2 days.
No, just allow me one little interjection.
Yes, go ahead.
Why do you think that terror funding is only got to be in rupees, Indian rupees? Why cannot it be in dollars?
Banks being looted in Jammu and Kashmir means that there needs to be security apparatus even in the
Where
state
all
banks.
would you have? How many banks will you secure and how many places
But sir, that's what the claim has been from the defense minister as well, that after the demonetization drive there would be a funding crunch, which now Pampore attack has showed, which is the first major attack since November 8th, that it does not have any impact.
Only impact will be like certain stone pelting operations, because they were given 500 and 1,000 rupees note. Okay, that is also temporary. Now already in our country enough cash has been created. Black money has been created again, and that will get into their hands, because there are so many people in India who are financing that.
Plus the banks have been looted.
So what is the option right now before India, sir? Because I have a time crunch as well. So Colonel Thapar, very quickly, what is the option before India now? What should India do vis-a-vis their Pak?
No, these are military operations going on. I am submitted and I am trying to make everybody understand that these are very tedious and slow, very slow operations, and success comes very slowly, because there is an enemy, live enemy close by, and there is some elements sympathetic to them within.
So should we opt for tit-for-tat diplomacy? You've had Nagrota attack as well. We've seen that how Pakistan refuses to learn post-surgical strike. Now we have a Pampore attack where 3 of our brave hearts have been martyred.
Certainly, we must have a proper strike at a place which is pre-planned and ready. I mean, if you want to have an operation that is a counter to this kind of a thing, it should have happened by now.
Okay, so Brigadier Kapoor, when the defense minister and the home minister were in chorus saying that we will strike at the time and place of our choosing post the Uri attack, we have had surgical strike. After that, we've seen that Pakistan has seen a new army chief, and there were also hopes that perhaps the new army chief will bring in a new focus to Indo-Pak relationship. Are we going back to the 2003, pre-2003 era now, sir?
You see, we have to change our posture. I mean, we have to go for, like Colonel Thapar said, is a proactive stance. And in our policies, we are very restrictive as far as any offensive activity is concerned. We have always been defending ourselves. That's why we are also called as defense forces. And we have to take certain, like what he mentioned, that was a very pertinent point in the beginning, that we did not exploit our success. What we got at that time, we should have continued, because we allowed them to recoup, reorganize, and they could now against they have started striking.
Okay.
We should have destabilized them at that stage. We should have struck them at n number of places again. We have the capability.
Okay, so Colonel Thapar, Brigadier Kapoor, perhaps a lost opportunity after surgical strike is what you believe India had. But given the fact that Pakistan remains defiant, there are more options on the table right now for the Indian government. Talk more about that.